Hi everyone, welcome to Geeks for Geeks Practice. So today we are going to see a question that was recently asked in an interview at Amazon. But before that, I would just like to confirm that if I am properly visible and audible. Yeah, it will be great if you could just confirm me that my voice is audible. All right, thank you. So let's focus on today's question. So it says length of the longest substring without repeating characters. Just a second. Yeah. Okay, so let's try to understand this question from our practice portal at Geeks for Geeks. Yeah, so the question is saying that given a string S, find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. Now, if you look at the input, it is Geeks for Geeks, and the output is coming out a substring which has no repeating characters. Now, let me come down. I'll explain the sample input and output in a moment, but let's come down and let's see what is our task. So our task is that we don't need to take input or print anything. We need to simply complete the longest unique substr function, which is over here. And we'll see at the end after I discuss the logic and various approaches to solve this problem, which takes a string S and returns the length of the longest substring. Fine. And what is the expected time complexity? It is big O of length of the string S, and auxiliary space is allowed as big O of 1. We'll see like if we could match this time complexity and auxiliary space, everything we'll see in a moment. Okay, so let's get back to the whiteboard. Yeah, now what comes first in our mind when I look at this question? The brute force approach could be to get all the substrings, check if it is a distinct substring or not, and if it is distinct, what is the count? What is the count of means the length of the substring? So just a second. Okay, thank you so much for confirming. All right. So as I was saying, the brute force approach could be to take all the substrings, okay, to take all the substrings, take all of them. After that, filter which ones are distinct. Once distinct is filtered, what you need to do? Take the max count or max length. Okay. So this could be one approach. Right. Let's try to just look at the pseudo code for this approach. How can we do this? Okay. So for that, I can use a nested for loop. So what I'll do, I'll run a for loop, the outer for loop, which goes from, let's say, int I equals to 0 till I less than length of the string. This is just a pseudo code, okay? That's why I have written like this modulo of s, which means the length of the string s and I plus plus. Inside this, I'll have one more loop that will be for j, okay? Let's say I take one more loop for j, and j goes from 0 till, or let me write it properly, j equals to I plus 1, not 0, okay? J less than mod of s and j plus plus. Okay, now what I can do is, if I carefully look at my substrings, what could it be? It could be G, the next moment it could be GE, the next moment it could be G double E, right? So let me write few of them, you will get the pattern. Okay, and after that, similarly, it goes on, right? Similarly, if I pick my second character, it is E. After that, it's EE. Then it's EEK. Then it's EEKS, right? These are all my substrings. Later on, I will look like which ones are distinct and which one I should consider. First, I'm just showing you how the pattern of, excuse me, how the pattern of substrings will look like. So what I can do over here to match this pattern, I can take a string which will get initialized outside my inner for loop. Let's say the string str, and this gets initialized with s of I. Okay, it gets initialized with s of I, and inside I have a function called check. This function is checking whether my substring is distinct or not. So inside this check, I will be passing a substring. Now, what that substring will look like, I'll show it to you. So let me write this down just a moment. Yeah. Yeah. So I have already taken first character in my str, right? What I'll do, I'll append this str plus equals to s of j. Okay. And I'll call check on this str. Let's observe this for a moment. What is happening? See, in S of I, can I say you have G initially if I take this example? Okay. Now, as soon as you go inside, your J is starting with I plus 1. So you are targeting this E. So initially, what you are doing, you are going with GE, right? You're going with GE. You should note one thing over here, that I am not going with single G because single G is anyways distinct. So I will see accordingly, I'll initialize my answer with 1. Okay. So I'm going with GE as my first substring as of now. Okay. So I have GE after this line because I am appending SJ and I'm checking whether it's distinct or not. Okay. Let me first show you the pattern. After that, I will go to the function check. In the next iteration, what will happen? This same GE will be appended with the second index, right? Or the third character, G double E. This will be checked. Similarly, G double E, K will be checked. Okay. And all the patterns of this particular substring, like when we start with G, will be checked in the first iteration of outer for loop. And in the next time when I becomes 1, I'll similarly have the pattern from E, right? Like this one. These patterns I'll have and I'll check. Okay. I hope this is clear to you. Now let's come. Now let's come to the part where I'll show you how to use this check function and what will this check function do. Okay, or let me show it right now only. Like let's say this check function has returned true for me. True, what does it mean? It means that you have your str substring right now which you have sent in this check function, all the characters distinct. Okay, then what you're going to do, so let me clear this portion of this screen a bit. Let me zoom out a bit. Yeah. So if you have this one as true, okay, if you have this one as true, basically you will be writing this inside a if. Okay, just a second, or let me erase this part. Okay, let me erase this part. Let me write it again. Okay, so str plus is equals to strj. After that, there is my inner for loop, outer for loop. I am checking over here. If check of str, okay, is equals to true, then you are going to do something, right? So what you're going to do, you have initialized your answer, let's say with 1. Okay, by the way, I'm repeating again and again, this is just a pseudo code. Its implementation could differ from language to language. Okay, whether you do it in C++, Java, Python, etc. Okay, so I've initialized my answer with 1 because I'm not considering, or there is no point considering single length strings, right? So I G single G as I showed, right? Well, in any ways it's distinct. So I'm initializing it with 1, and over here I'm checking like which one is max. I'll write something like answer is equals to max, uh, comma answer, comma res. Okay. Now what is this res? Let's say this res is returned from this check str. Okay. So what you can do, like you can modify this again a bit. You can write this check str outside if. Okay. You can write this check str outside if, and you have a res variable over here. Now if this res is, let's say, you take -1 if you have some similar characters, and if you get a positive value, okay, if you get a positive value, then you are doing this operation. I hope this is making sense to you. Like if you have any doubts in the logic for this, you can let me know in the comment section. You just need to modify this piece of code, or if you want, I'll only modify it for you. Give me a moment. So yeah, we have J++ over here. Yeah, this is it. Let's say I take a variable res. Okay, there is an integer type. I call check on this str, and after that again I'm checking if res not equals to -1. That means we have got distinct substring. Then we are doing that operation of answer is equals to max of answer comma res. Right. So yeah, this is kind of pseudocode, and it will eventually at the end of the outer for loop, you will return your answer, and yeah, you'll get your answer finally. So this is running in big O of n square, or where n is my length of the string, right? This is running in big O of n square. Now what we can do is we can improvise the solution. We can improvise the solution. We can do better than this. And for that, we'll be using a technique called sliding window. Okay. So in order to explain sliding window properly, I'll do it alongside the code, because there are certain cases that I need to consider, and that will help me solve this problem in one traversal or in big O of n time, right? Where n is the length of my string given to me. So let's go and have a look at the sliding window algorithm along with the code. So let me maximize it. Yeah. See, first of all, what do we do in sliding window algorithm? This you need to understand first. So let's say you have a string called tmt, okay, zuxt. There is a reason I have taken this string or test case, because this will help me understand my algorithm in a better way. Okay. So yes, so what sliding window means is that you will have a window with start and end. Okay, initially your start and end both will point over here. Okay, you will have some logic to increment. You will have some logic to manipulate your start. Okay, and you will keep on incrementing your end. Basically, you will see like how I'll do right now. You will just see. But just to give you a brief overview, what is going to happen? This is the first character, right? Small t. This is distinct as of now. So your start and end is over here, no issue. You come over here, okay, you come over here, that means your end start pointing to this. Now t and m is also distinct, still no issue. Once you increment your end, okay, once you increment your end starts pointing to this t. What is happening? You have one more t over here, right? So tmt is not a valid substring which has distinct characters. So what you will do, you will shift your window. You will shift your window, basically means you will move your start pointer from here to this small m. Okay. So this is how your window is sliding. Okay. So I hope you got the feel of the algorithm. Now let's try to dive into detail of this. Okay, so let me clear the canvas for the moment. Okay, let's take this test case only. Okay, let's take this test case only. We will see like what modifications we need to do. Okay, how is this algorithm going? Why I have commented this? Why I have written y max? There is one more test case just to give you better clarity. Okay, so let's proceed. I'll take both the test cases and we'll see how can we develop the logic for this solution. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So let's take this test case and do a dry run. Okay. tmt zuxt. So at the very beginning, you see that I have taken an unordered map. Okay, char and int. Fine. So char is my key and int is my value. All right. Now, what this char will represent? This will represent each of my characters in the string. Okay. And what this int will be do? Int will represent the value. This will store the index. Okay, index where that character is present. Okay, this will be storing the index where that character is present. All right. I have taken the size of my string in n. I have initialized start and end with 0 because now my window size is 0. Let me denote start with s and end with e, because every time writing it full start and end will make it very clumsy. Okay. So I'll just give a note that I am denoting my start with s and end with e. Okay, I've initialized my answer with a minimum value because later I need to compare it with my further results, and finally I have to return the final answer. We'll see how it goes. This is the crux. Okay, this is the crux of the entire solution. Very small code, but it's highly efficient. Okay, so let's see. So initially I'm checking whether my end is less than n. So what will be my n for this? If I clearly observe, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So n is basically the size. Okay, it is the size of my string. So it is less than n because my end is 0 right now, if you observe. Okay, so hence I am saying that I am pointing to 0th index. Okay, initially. What I check map dot find s of end not equal to map dot end, then only I go inside this if. Right. See, this will be not equal to map dot end. First of all, what is there in s end? Currently it has t, right? Because s of 0 is t. So it will be, this if block condition will only become true if t is present in my map. Then only it will not go till end of the map to check. So right now this condition is false because right now if you do map dot find t, you will go till map dot end. Okay, so it will eventually reach map dot end, and this is becoming false. So you're not going into this right now. Okay, you come to this line, and what you're doing, answer is equal to max of answer end minus start plus 1. See, your end is over 0th index, start is over 0th index. So what you're doing, 0 minus 0 plus 1, and you're comparing it with answer whose initial value is int underscore min. So this will become int underscore min comma 1. If you compare, obviously 1 is bigger. So currently you have in your answer, you have 1, right? So you have in your answer the length of this single t. All right. Now what you're doing, you have taken a map in which at s dot end as key, you are storing its index. See, end is the index for this t, right? Right now this is the index 0. So in order to represent that, let me clear this area a bit. Okay. Let me write answer over here. Just a second. Let me write answer over here. Answer is equals to 1 right now. Okay. And yeah, in my map right now for t, I have index 0. Great. Fine. So if I have index 0, map s dot end, yeah, that is with the position t, I have end as my value. I do end plus plus. So as I said, I increment my end, it comes over here. Now my end is over here. I again check end is not less than, sorry, end is less than n. Hence I go inside and I do map dot find s end. If this is true, obviously this will become false because m is still not there in the map, right? So it will reach till map dot end, and this if will become false. Hence I come over here and I again check end minus start plus 1 and answer, which is greater. So in answer I have 1. Now end minus start plus 1. See, now end is 1, start is 0. So this is becoming 2, right? 1 minus 0 plus 1. So I'll change this to 2. I do map s dot end equals to end. So in my map, just a second. Basically, I'm trying to maintain my map over here. Okay. Like I have my map over here. The index is 1. The answer has become 2. Okay. Right. Now I do a n plus plus and I come over here. See, now the interesting stuff is going to begin. Okay. What I find, I see that, okay, it is still less than n. So my end is over here, still less than n. I go inside and I check if map dot find s dot end not equal to map dot end. This time this will become true because in map we have t present, right? So this will not go till map dot end and I go inside. And what I'm doing, okay, let's forget line number 30 for the time being. Let's focus on more intuitive approach. What could be my intuitive approach? As I explained few moments ago, what I can do is I can shift my sliding window from here, from this T to this M, right? Like I can make start pointing to this place. And that's what I can do with this line 21, like map S end plus one. So what is map S end? Let me write it for you. So map S end. Where is your end? At index, basically at T, right? So map of T. So S of T is 0. Okay, so yeah, if I do map S end, it will be something like map of at position T, right? This comes out to be 0 and you're doing plus 1 to it because eventually this will return the value, right? So value is 0. So 0 plus 1, you are making this to 1, right? So what have you done? You have shifted your start. See, you're assigning this to start. So you have shifted your start. So your start will pointing it to here. Now, one thing you should notice is like I have done only a small change in line number 30. I have compared it with my earlier value of start. You will appreciate this particular line when I explain you test case 2. Okay. So just be with me for a moment. You will get to understand. Okay. So I am right now following line number 29. Okay. So this was basically for this. Okay. So I have incremented my start. I have come over here. Fine. That's great. So why have I done? Because I know that this TMT is no longer a valid substring. Let's proceed forward. I again do answer max of n minus start plus 1. So answer is already 2. My end is at index 2. Start is at index 1. So 2 minus 1 plus 1 will again be 2. So this answer will not get updated. I again store the map. Okay, so this time what is going to happen? Map of s dot end. So this time s dot end map is t only. I'll update it with 2, right? Because I have end as 2. I do n plus plus and I come over here. Okay. Now things are pretty straightforward. As you could see, z, u, and x all are distinct. So what I will be doing is, yeah. So what I will be doing is, just a second. There is some glitch in the screen. Yeah, so I'm really sorry for the interruption. Let's resume. So we were over here, right? We reached till this Z, okay? And I told that my answer is still 2, okay? I saw the first three characters and I was just updating my map, right? So my end has now gone to this Z, okay? Now I go over here and I check whether Z is less than, sorry, whether end is less than N, which is obviously it's less than N, right? Because it is 3, z index of z is 3, right? So I come inside and I check, so this will again become false because my map does not have z. So what I'll do, I'll insert in map z with the help of this line, and I'll also check compare my answer. So end minus start plus 1 will now get incremented. This will become 3 because your this is 3, this is 1. So uh, yeah, just a second. So where is my end? It's at z, and this is at 1. So 3 minus 1 plus 1, right? So this is obviously greater than my earlier value. So I am incrementing it and it becomes 3. And after that, with the help of line number 34, I am keeping the value of z as 3. I again go to the top, I increment, okay, and I do the same operation. So this time this becomes 4. Okay, I'll suggest you to pause this video for a moment and try run it yourself, okay, to get a better understanding. This becomes 4 because of line number 33, as again the if condition will be false. And in my map I have u with index as 4 because it is present at fourth index, right? Similarly, after that I'll again go, my end will get incremented, right? And this if will again become false, my answer will go to 5, right? And in my map I'll have x with index as, what is the value of e? 0 1 2 3 4 5. So x as at index 5. Now comes the interesting part. Once you reach over here, this t, you have already seen this t at index 2, right? Now let's observe what will happen. So if you carefully see, we have over here map.find s and not equal to map.end. Obviously true because I'll not go till map.end. I'll find t over there. I come inside and right now I'm focusing on line 29. So what I do map s and plus 1, assign it to start. So let's see what is this going to happen. So if I do map s and plus 1, so in my map, my s end is nothing but the value of t. So this will come out to be 2 and plus 1. If I do this, this gets assigned to 3, right? So I come over here. And after that, I go outside. I check end minus start plus 1. So end is right now 6. If you observe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Start is your 3. Just now you have updated plus 1. So what is this becoming? 6 minus 2 equals to 4. And you already have 5, right? So you are not going to update your answer, right? And in the end, you will update this with 6 and n plus plus. Eventually, you will reach the false condition of this. So if you look at this string, you're getting answer as 5, and that is perfectly correct. And this is your substring. So why is the solution incorrect? This works fine, right? You will get to know once I do the same dry run for this string, okay, for test case 2. So let me clear the screen for a moment. See, why I am explaining in such detail? Because I want you to get clarity or feel of the sliding window, okay? Sometimes questions on sliding window can become very difficult, okay? So that's the reason I have taken cases and I'm trying to explain. So let's have a look at it. So what I'll do, I will show you how this is becoming incorrect once I dry run on this test case, okay? So let me take this test case. We'll see if required, we'll do the full dry run, or otherwise once we get to know, okay, once we are convinced that this is a wrong approach for this particular test case, then you will appreciate why I have taken the max, okay? So let's proceed. T M M Z U X T. So initially your start and end will point over here, right? Your end is less than n, fine, because this is also, I think, how much is this length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is of length 7. Fine. So I go and check map.find send. Send is this key. This is, if this is not equal to map.end, then only I'll go and check. Obviously, this will become false because right now I don't have t in my map, right? So I will be reaching till map.end. See, this is implemented in C++, so syntax might vary language to language. Okay. If I come down, what I do, I update my answer with end minus start plus 1 and already present value of answer, whichever is greater. So end minus start plus 1 will be nothing but 0 minus 0 plus 1, and your answer will be updated with 1 because your original answer has int underscore main value, right? After that, what you do in your map, this is your map. As key t, you have your index as 0, right? You do n plus plus, you come over here, right? Your end is now pointing over here. That's great. It is still less than n. This if is still false, you go over here and what you do? You do end minus start plus 1. Okay, so this is 1 minus 0 plus 1. This is 2, right? This is 2 and you update it. Okay, so currently you have tm in your substring, which is your current, which is your current answer, right? So after this, you in your map you store the index. Okay, so this is 1, this is 1. Now you do n plus plus, so your n comes over here now, which is still less than n, hence you go inside. Now you are doing a check for this. So obviously you will find this in map, right? So this if condition will become true. You go inside and you, let's say, execute this line 29. Okay, we will see where the need of this line 30 will come. We will see. For a moment, let's say you have made this pointing to line 29 and you are using this approach. So what you do the same thing. You try to shift your sliding window, right? So how are we shifting? I am changing the value of s by map of s n plus 1, right? So what is my map of s n? So my map of s end is nothing but value for m. So value for m is 1, right? So I take 1 plus 1, okay, and this becomes 2, right? This becomes 2. So yeah, so my start will get pointed to over here, right? Its window gets shifted, right? From here we have come over here, right? Now let's proceed. Uh, we will be checking what is my final answer. Like end minus start, will see end and start are pointing at both the same positions. So this will be 2 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, and this 1 is obviously less than 2, so answer will not get updated. What you do after that, you do map s n equals to n. So you again update your m value, which is 2. You increment your n, okay, which is still less than n, hence you come inside. Now things are pretty simple. This if will become false. So in your map you will have, let me erase this. Yeah, so in your map you will have with z the key as due to this line 35, okay, or before that, after this if is becoming false, let's check this line. See, that's why I'm saying if you dry run it yourself, you'll get a better clarity, right? So anyways, like I'm going into as much detail as possible. Still, if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. So line 33, max of, what is my current answer? 2. End minus start. My end is over here and my start is over here. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will be 3 minus 2 plus 1, right? So this becomes 1 plus 1, which is equals to 2, right? So no need to update. 2 is already there. And finally, we are storing the index for Z. Yeah, just a second. There is multiple glitches happening today. I'm really sorry for it. Yeah, so sorry for the interruption. Let's resume. So over here, what we have till now, I have seen over here, this 2 was equals to this 2. Okay, so we were at line 34, iterating over z. My end was pointing over here, and start is pointing over here. So map s dot end index of z is 3. I have updated. I proceed forward. I make this end point to this u. Okay, still this condition will be false. The condition of while loop will be true, hence we come inside. If condition will be false, because we don't have z in our map right now, we check n minus start plus 1, is it greater than current value of answer or not. So currently the value of end is 4, start is 2 plus 1, so this is 3, right? So we will update this. Okay, now what are we doing? Map of Sn. So what is Sn map? This is nothing but u and index is 4. Great. See, when I reach to this t, you will get the logic, okay, or the crux for this particular line number 30. So just hold on for a moment. Now I start pointing my end over here. Okay. So this is E. Sorry, my end is pointing to X. This is still less than N. The map, this if condition will become false. I check whether n minus start plus 1 is greater than current value of answer or not. So what is the value of n? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 minus start is 2 plus 1, right? So this is 4. So let's change our value of answer to 4. Okay. Now we in our map we have the value of x as 5, right? Because end is 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Now we reach over here. Okay, now we reach over here. Now focus on this part of the lesson very carefully. This is the most important point in the entire lecture of today. Okay. So when I have reached over here, okay, this I'm pointing to this t, my start is pointing to this 2. Okay, what I am doing? I am checking if it is end is less than n. Obviously, end is less than n. I come inside, and this if condition becomes true. Becomes true. Why? Because t is present in the map, and this will obviously not go till map dot end. So I come inside, and now if I see line 29, what I am doing? If I see line 29, and I simply do start with map sn plus 1, let's see what's going to happen. So my start will be, I am denoting my start with s. Okay, uh, hope you understand. Start with s and end with e. My bad, just a second. Start with s and end with e. Okay, great. Now my start will be map of sn plus 1. So what is map of sn? This is 0, right? Because map of t, the value comes out to be 0, and I have 0 plus 1 equals to 1. Now just observe very carefully. Okay, I'll try to explain how what is happening. If my start is 1, okay, I am basically pointing to this, right? Pointing to this n. So what will be my value if I come outside? What will be my value? End is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 minus 1 plus 1, right? That is coming out to be 6, which means I am considering this substring, and that is false because I cannot take 2m. So what we need to do, we need to compare it with current value of start, which was actually 2, okay, which was actually 2, and we need to assign it to that start. Because see, if there are only one character repeating multiple number of times, then our previous solution was working. But now we have multiple characters getting repeated, right? So in order to take care of that, you need to take max with the current value of start also, so that you never go back. Okay, if there are multiple characters which are repeating, you're always ahead of the last character which was repeated. Okay, that's how you are ensuring that it will be distinct. Okay, so what we are going to do, we'll take the max of start, and this will no longer be 0. Okay, this will be 2. So this will be 6 minus 2, that is 4 plus 1, and that becomes 5, right? So this is your final answer, mzuxt, right? And at the end, what you are doing, you are again updating. Okay, like after this line, you are again updating map of sn. So this will eventually become 6. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? and this becomes false for you now. Okay, right. So just a second, this becomes 6 and your end gets updated to 7, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So eventually your end gets updated to 7 and this becomes false, and you return your answer at the end. So I tried my best to explain the logic of sliding window to you in this question. Like I have taken both the scenarios and I have shown you like why we are doing the max. Okay. Otherwise, most of the things are pretty much intuitive. So let me compile this code. Okay. And let's see how this works. Okay. So let me clear the canvas. Yeah. So it is getting compiled, and for Geeks, the output is correct. Let's submit it and see. All right, so you are getting the correct answer for this as well. See, now what do we got to learn from this? Although there were multiple glitches in today's lesson, but still I tried my best to give you like all of the crux of this question. Okay, like why we were doing this match between start, okay, and how we have used our map, how we have used indexing for each of the characters, how we are shifting our sliding window, right? So these kind of questions, if you are tasked to reduce the time complexity in an interview, it becomes a bit tricky at times because you need to have a very strong notion or logic to manipulate your start, right? As we did in this question. So this was a very good question asked in an interview recently at Amazon, and we got to learn a lot of things from this question. Okay, so if you have any doubts right now, or if you find at any place explanation went out of track because of the glitch, okay, please comment it down. Okay, we will try to answer all of them because I know there were disturbances in today's lesson, but no issues. I will reach to each and every question asked by you. Okay, and if you have any doubts in the explanation or with the logic, you can obviously write it down in comment section. So yeah, now, or if you have any doubts right now, you can ask me straight away. All right, as we see that there are no questions, so thank you for joining Geeks for Geeks practice, and we will be coming up with more questions from product-based company interviews and every week. And you can subscribe to our channel, and you can obviously press the bell icon, and we will try to provide the best content as much as possible. All right.